What's up, guys? Today I want to go over one that I've left in the box for a long time. I mean, I've had him for a long time. I got him when he very first came out. And I know that I opened up the Skeletor Terror Claws. And I know I said that I had to see this guy next, which I know for a fact now, without a doubt. I've looked at him, I read this, he does have the same swingy arms. Now, when I was doing the photography, I did come to find out that if you push the arm up real hard and kind of hold the other, it'll pop and kind of snap into a position. So I got some good shots of Terror Claw's Skeletor. And you can check those shots out if you just want to go over to my Instagram. That's where I post all my photography stuff for my action figures. But this guy right here, I really considered opening him this video. But I have put this off for a long time. And for a figure that was on multiple people's lists for figure of the year, I can't believe that I never touched this figure. I bought it and then just left it alone and never opened it. And I gotta be a part of this. I gotta be a part of all these people that kept saying, figure of the year, best He-Man they've ever made, unbelievable, sculpt is perfect, this is what I wanted from Masterverse. Let's check out the 40th anniversary He-Man. So look, I knew that I wanted this figure the second I seen him. I knew it. There was no doubt in my mind that this was something I absolutely wanted. And I went out of my way to get it. And then, because I'm so far behind in opening up Masterverse, and I'm so far behind in opening up the Origin figures and things of that nature, I never opened him. Unlike other shows, I don't open these figures unless I've done a video, because that's specifically what I'm trying to focus on right now, is getting my initial first reactions on film. How do I feel about these figures? Which means I have to open them when I do videos. And if I don't have the free time to open more than one a night, and they keep piling up, and I don't get the videos out, these things sit around for a while sometimes. And I kept saying I'm going to open him, kept saying I'm going to open him, kept saying I'm going to open him, and then I never did. I never did. But you know what? It's time to do so, because I've put it off and put it off and put it off, and after seeing all the people's responses to how great this figure is, I gotta see it for myself. So the very first thing, of course, we're going to do is we're going to look at this box here and we're going to say, hey, that's a good box there. Because it is. That screen right there and everything, that's a good window right there. If I was to keep him like this forever, he'd still look pretty cool. But you know me, that's not what I'm about. We have the exploding Masters of the Universe retro-esque design right here. The side art is just the explosion, and the other side art is just the explosion. That's a little sad for me, because in all honesty, I wanted a traditional He-Man right here, or more than likely this way, so that I could add him to my display on top of the shelf. And I'm not going to get that. I'm just going to get the explosion here. But for what it's worth, the artwork on the back here is absolute top-notch. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a direct reference I think to a Conan the Barbarian image. I cannot remember what one, but I feel like I've seen this before, not with the tiger, but with Conan walking up and somebody hiding behind the thing. I'm almost 100% sure that I have seen this. I'm almost positive this is an homage to a Conan the Barbarian image. If I'm wrong, I'm surprised because it really feels familiar to me. If it's not, it's just damn fine artwork. And if that's the truth, guess what? That's what it is. Let's open this guy. So coming out of the box, right off the bat, this is what we get for the background. This exploding image right here, and it's very much a throwback to the old retro cards. That's pretty cool. I might actually find a use for that. I don't know 100% yet. And as for the box, this may be the first one of these boxes that I may actually cut and just want this part. I don't know. Maybe this will go up on the display. I really don't know. It's a real waste that it didn't have He-Man on the side here, but I'll figure that out when I get there. One problem right off the bat for this, though, this I wish didn't have the plastic tabs. This is another one that has the plastic tabs here on the arms and on the feet, and I just, if you're gonna go through the process of making the coffin, the plastic coffin, the insert, just make it so that he fits in there and I don't have to cut all these off. I know that's a minor complaint, but when I see companies that go out of their way, like the last video that we did when we went over the Legends of Zelda characters, they were just in the plastic coffin and you just, they were in the insert and you just pushed them out and you were done. There's no reason these figures can't all be done like that. All right, here he is. He's out, he's there. This is him. So let me get him standing up first. Yeah, his legs feel like he's a Masterverse character. I don't really have to go over too much about that. He moves like a Masterverse character. All of that is incorporated, and I love it. The Masterverse line, to me, I've made this argument multiple times. It's the best line. It's the best line. It's so good. Now, I haven't had a chance to hold a classics in my hands. I've held vintage. I've had, of course, mini Origins. I've had mini Masterverse, and I've had some of the 2000X. 2000X, personally, being what I consider to be the lowest on my tier of toys for Motu. It's just the way that I feel. I feel like they don't articulate well. Even if they look well, they have the same posability as a retro. And if I'm going to go at that rate, I like the look of the retro because it's retro and it was designed that way. And it just, it's hard for me to explain. But I did talk all about this in a previous video. I spoke about how my tiers of Masterverse went and how my tiers of Motu went. This is at the top. Masterverse is easily at the top. So look at that loincloth right there. That's some pretty good wash for this figure for what it is, because this is a Masterverse figure. It's the same price as other Masterverse figures as far as I remember. I like that head sculpt. That is really good. In fact, I think they reused this head sculpt in a couple of figures now, including Movie He-Man. I saw that Movie He-Man came out and they put this head in there, and thankfully they did that because, wow, the Movie He-Man head from first sight images does not impress me at all. He comes with the original battle axe, he comes with the shield, and he comes with the power sword, which is cool. And I heard that they did something with his wrist. I also like this little added piece right here. This is cool because it incorporates a little bit of the original, because this is the original. It should be on both his hands. This part right here should be on both of his hands, right? But they didn't do that this time. In order to throw him into the Masterverse curve and update him a little bit, they gave him this and they gave him this. And I actually really like that. I just like it. I really do. I think it's really cool. So, this belt, his chest is huge. I mean, it's huge. This dude is so buff. Them abs go for days. Oh my God, look at this guy. He is freaking super buff. I wonder if they're going to reuse this chest cavity on some other characters or something like that. I have trouble believing they would have just molded that and then not touched it. This is pretty spectacular, really. I want to compare him. After I see something, I want to see something, because I keep hearing about it and I've yet to see it. This is a punchy hand that they gave us. This is a karate choppy hand, open hand thing that they gave us. Then they gave us 2 grip hands. One grip hand is for the shield, okay? So that we can put the shield, we can slide it on there and he can hold the shield. This, however, is what I want to see. I've heard that he is the first one that can hold the Master Sword aloft like he's supposed to do, and I want to see him do that before we move any further. And by the way, that is a really good Master Sword sculpt right there. We're going to compare it to my favorite He-Man afterwards, and we're going to see something. But this guy can actually stand back, lift the sword into the air, and his wrist moves down for the first time ever. That is as close to the actual pose as we have ever gotten. That is spectacular. That is so simple. But for people that have loved He-Man for this many years, and I know I'm new, I even have a video that says 1 year as a Motu fan, but look at that. He holds the sword up. That's not a small deal. That's a big deal. I want to compare him real quick to 2 other figures. That right there showcases why that is so special. That's a huge deal. It's so simple. It's such a simple thing. Why this was not a standard of the figures for years, I will not know. It took a 40th year anniversary He-Man to finally do this. That right there alone makes him one of the best He-Man figures ever made. That's so simple, but I swear that is beautiful. So, in terms of the vintage look, which is about right here. Now I realize that's an Origins figure, but in terms of vintage He-Man, we're pretty good here. In general, like I said, we got the arm piece, the band, which is cool. They updated this guy. As you could tell, that's not a thing on the more vintage looking figure on this guy. You don't see that because he didn't have that. Of course, compared to this, his power sword is definitely better. I really like this old one. I love this updated one, but I really like this. Them muscles are ripping. Looks like he shares the same legs. These are new boots. These are the same arms, but a new hand, new head, new chest, and new abs. So what they crafted new here really did make a difference. And it made a pretty real difference. Now, as for the boots, we have seen these boots and that loincloth, I think, before. So in terms of reuse, and this is a normal thing when it comes to these figures, all the time. Let me move over here real quick and grab this. Sorry if it's throwing off the sound. But just to bring him in here, here is the Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man. So this loincloth, it seems, that's its own design. This is awfully close. It's awfully close, but I feel like this is longer than this one. So I don't think that's the same. However, I do believe these boots are reused and repainted. Those are the same legs, same arms. So yeah, what they changed on this figure, though, made a world of difference. It really, truly does, because his chest being bigger, the new abs, and then the muscles and everything, he seems bigger by comparison because of all the stuff that was added. And as you could tell, I think he's a little taller because of his chest. Maybe not. Maybe that's an illusion. I'm not 100% sure, but when I'm looking at him here, maybe they're about the same size. That's really hard for me to tell, in all honesty. But yeah, wow. So, here are my He-Men. Let's turn the camera the littlest bit. These are the He-Men that I've been able to put together so far. These are them. In terms of this, and I do have Viking He-Man in his own actual gear, but that's my favorite design of him. So bringing him over here wouldn't exactly key this up 100%. But in terms of my Masterverse figures, I guess he would. I'm only missing one He-Man in Masterverse that I can think of, in all honesty. And that would be the Space He-Man, the New Adventures He-Man. I think this is a fantastic recreation and reimagining. And he's got that ugly face. And he should have an ugly, superior, crazy man face, right? I feel like that's right. I feel like that's good for him. Look at that face. Look at the old face. That, to me, that feels right. I think it's fantastic. I've heard some people complain about the face. I don't think so. That right there, so good. I might prefer this sword, however. Of the swords that are currently here, this, and this are all crafted a little bit different, and I like this one the most. It may be minor, but it's noticeable to me, especially like, so I'm turning him like this, and I'm turning him like this, so I can kind of get it on camera, so I can get the two swords. This little bitty grip thing here that they add, and they have it here too. I don't think that's an exact sculpt. If it is, they should have painted it, because the other one, this one being painted on the hilt, is a pretty big deal. It really brings it to life. The battle axe, definitely cool. I like my savagey He-Man to have the battle axe. I like that a lot. I've always really enjoyed that battle axe aesthetic. It does bring me to a question. Who is the best that I have so far? Now, I don't have every He-Man yet. I have battle armor, but I've yet to unbox him. And I have Savage, but I've yet to unbox him. I don't have New Adventures Space He-Man, so I can't really tell you that. In terms of running for the absolute best, though, I am curious. I really am curious. I've got to get all these opened, look them over, and really make a decision. Because seeing them all standing here now, it really makes me wonder who's running for the absolute top. I like him. So far, he's been my absolute favorite He-Man that I've ever got. But I have to admit, this guy is awesome. It's really close, if it is. It's really close. You don't have a chance. Yeah, I like him, but he doesn't have a chance here in this little fight. And you're not part of the fight. If I was to look at these two right now, I'm curious. I like this more than I like this. Him being buff like that, it looks really good on him, but I prefer the more realistic muscle, the obtainable real human look. This, not that you couldn't get this big, but like, this is more believable than this. I like this battle crest more than this harness right here. I kind of like these design pieces right here more than I like just the regular. He's got way better wash and furry shorts. He just has like a cloth. that comes down. I like this boot a lot. This boot knife with the boots and the wraps and everything. That's my favorite boots right there. That head is fantastic. Makes me wonder if I switched that head to that body, would this be the one that I prefer, or would this head be too big, or would it not be right because he seems darker than this guy by a little bit? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say who I think is the superior out of these guys. I love this stand right here, though. Fantastic. Either way, I'm not necessarily making a decision right now. He does seem bigger. It's just by my, it could be an illusion. It could be this. I don't know. Are you guys the same size? Yeah, I think they're the exact same size. But it's illusionary. It's illusionary, but that this seems like the bigger He-Man because all this is so much bigger. And it really makes a difference. His head, his chest, and his abs are so much more imposing, so much more large, so much more out there that you pay attention. You pay attention to this. That is a fantastic mold. It's a fantastic sculpt. I can see why people thought this to be their figure of the year. I saw this over and over again where people were doing their best figures of the year or figure that blew them away or whatever, and a lot of people kept saying this guy right here was the one, that it was the one they were most impressed with out of anything. And I will say, having that wash, that slight wash, that does do a lot of favors to all this, because I can see the wash on his legs, and it makes them seem more defined than his legs over here. And I can see the wash on his arms, and it makes the arms seem as if they're bulkier than his arms over here, even though they're not. I know these are the same legs and the same arms, but it really did make a huge difference. That wash really made a difference, where this guy, the only real wash that he got was the hair, and that was about it, where he was really overhauled. And it really helped him a lot. I mean, back when every figure was coming with wash, you really noticed a difference that lately the figures are no longer coming with a wash. And boy, you can tell that it has made a legit difference. This guy's fantastic looking. I mean, he really is. Wow. Like, I'm truly impressed. I'm truly impressed. I think you would have to take his hand off to get this shield on there. I think you might have to take that off. I don't know. I feel like you would. Yeah, that feels... Could I get that over that? Maybe. I think maybe you could get that on there without actually hurting anything. It would make me feel a little bit better. I think you could do it. But yeah, I would feel better taking it off regardless. And I don't even know if I want him necessarily with the shield. I think this... But I don't know. Like I said, I'm the kind of person... I really tend to really like these axes. Look at that. Look at that. Look at him. Yes, that big axe and everything. That axe is always so cool on He-Man. Or I might just go two weapons. I might go the sword and I might go the axe. But we do have the sheath back here, and they finally moved it over to the side as opposed to the vintage where it's just like right there on his back where I often put the axe for my more vintage guy. My Origins guy, I know that the vintage. But yeah. That's nice. I like that it's to the side like that. It makes more sense. I really think that's cool. I like that big, powerful axe right there. I do like the shield and the axe look. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to display this guy, and it could just be that I change him up constantly when he's standing on the shelf or whatever. He's fantastic. I really am curious now. I wonder if I should purposely go and open every single He-Man that I have and then do like a a He-Man episode where I figure out who my favorite He-Man that I've put in the collection is, because I do have a lot of He-Man. And then the real question is, do I allow multiples? Yeah, I have the He-Man from... I have so many He-Men right now. He-Man, He-Mans, He-Men, whatever. Because I have the Viking, and I have a second Viking so that I could get this look that I like, and I have the 40th anniversary, and I have the Revelations He-Man, and I have the Origins He-Man, both version 1 and 2, and then I have a Battle Armor He-Man, which is from a different set where he's actually got the vac metal armor and everything. I'm curious if I was to pull out every He-Man that I have. Maybe I should pull everything off the shelf and we should just make that the next couple videos. Unbox every He-Man that I have and then do a countdown of every single He-Man that I've put together so far in terms of who is my favorite He-Man that I have personally put on my shelf, my own collection. I really am curious about that. It's got me really wondering. And if I did that episode, I really should probably follow that up with a best Skeletor and everything. Those might be two good episodes. That might really make a lot of sense. I don't know. But I did know that I wanted to open this guy. I wanted to see him. Definitely wanted to see him hold the sword aloft, because the fact that he can do that is fantastic. And of course, I will run some photography with him. I've got to find a guy for him to kind of battle with, not just do single pictures. I don't know yet. It'll probably take me a day or so before I get that up, but I'll post this video, and then of course I'll follow that up on my Instagram with some action figure photography of this guy. Get some good shots of him and everything, and really let this sculpt shine. Let it speak to me, because that's something that the action figure photography really does for me, is I get a chance to move him around, kind of put him in situations, really see what his face is capable of and whatnot, have him battle it out with other figures and everything, and it really gives me a feel for just how much love and detail went into the sculpt. How well do the arms move? How well are the legs? How toned? How defined? Is the chest too big? Does it look goofy when I take pictures? I don't know. But that's the biggest part about wanting to get into the action figure photography side for me, is that as I get into the action figure photography side, it really allows me to kind of check these guys out and figure out just every single detail. You really notice it when you're posing them and trying to figure out new ways to put them through and whatnot, and have certain characters stand beside them and you see what they look like as opposed to other characters, and it just really brings out the details to explore them in that way. And that's a big part of why I wanted to do action figure photography in the first place. But anyways, that's enough. I just really wanted to open this guy. This is almost an excuse video, because he sat here for so long, and I knew before I ever touched him that I knew this guy was going to be something special. There was no doubt in my mind that this guy was going to be something special. And as far as I could tell, he really is. This is a fantastic figure. I don't know if he's my favorite. I don't know if he's dethroned my favorite. I'm really debating that. I think I do. I think I need to unbox the He-Mans. I need to unbox every single one that I have. I need to photograph every single one that I have, spend real time with them, and then I need to do a video over which is the best figure. Because I'm really curious. This guy, though, that is an absolutely fantastic figure. Anyways, guys, keep collecting. We're all in this together. Make your collection about you. Make it represent you. Make it say what you are, who you are, why you are. That's just personally the way I feel about collecting, man. I feel like these are museums to ourselves. It's all the stuff that we love, and it all says something about us in one way or another. Make it yours. Your collection doesn't have to be mine. We're all in this together. I hope you get all the stuff you're looking for, and I hope you feel the same about me. Later on, guys.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.